Dear Britain, today, as I speak, an extraordinarily bad Prime Minister is being replaced by one who, if his record is anything to go by, will be even worse and even more divisive. Our country is in danger. 3 years ago, we divided virtually down the middle over whether to leave the European Union. And since then, far from being resolved, that split has only deepened. Now, the Joker is taking over our country, and we all have to confront the very real risk of a disastrous no-deal Brexit. Now, Boris Johnson denies this, but we all know he only says what he thinks people want to hear. What matters is what he does, and what he is doing is aligning the United Kingdom with Donald Trump's White House. Now, that is not what anyone voted for 3 years ago. It will not take back control or rescue our democracy. And far from bringing our country back together, it will divide us even more. Now, from the start, I argued that we must build on the democracy of the referendum with more democracy. My view was, let us see what kind of Brexit can be negotiated, and then let the country, not the politicians, decide if this is indeed the outcome that they really want. Now, some on the Remain side are quoted as saying, can't we just stop and go back to the way things were before the referendum? Like you, however, I want there to be no going back. Instead, we have to change. And we need real leadership, based on honesty and integrity. And instead, what have we got? A new Prime Minister, whose casual disregard for the truth is legendary, whose judgment is appalling, who will not rule out a shutdown of Parliament, apparently in the name of taking back control, to force through a disastrous no-deal Brexit. It is hard to imagine a politician less qualified to assume the premiership in such dangerous and divided times. The Labour Party has a different leadership crisis. It has failed to seize the opportunity and to set out a programme of real democratic renewal, which is what Brexit is all about. It has failed to put country before party, and has instead retreated into tactics when what we need is a principled strategy. And nor is bollocks to Brexit the answer, writing off, as it does with such contempt, half the country. Half the country who are rightly angry at the establishment for decades of neglect and at the austerity imposed upon them by the coalition government. The next 3 months, until October 31st, will put our democracy to the test in a way that it has never been tested before. Now, we need to be smart, and we need to cooperate. We need to put our political differences aside to prevent a disgraceful, humiliating Brexit that only serves Trump's cause. Now, all I can tell you, as the solitary Green MP, is this: that we will ride out the storm and outlive the menace, if necessary for years. At any rate, this is what we are going to try to do. Now, yes, I am quoting Winston Churchill, and that is what he told the country when he promised that we would fight tyranny on the beaches, the fields and the streets. At any rate, he said, at any rate, this is what we are going to try to do. There was no bluster, no false jollying, just hard determination. This is what we need, and this is what I want to offer in the months that lie ahead. My name is Caroline Lucas, and I'm changing the conversation about Brexit.